Burrow airs it out. Chase. Hello. Touchdown.
And I got a voice inside that needs to be fed.
Are two of the best historically, just not thus far. Against these receivers.
Making adjustments again, and there is Smith roaming free, breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson. Jordan, how the hell are you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing well. We got a lot of things tonight. Sports are popping. Things are good in my neck of the woods. I got some softball that I have to figure out as a dad sometime soon. The rules and regulations and what to do. But we got the Cavs live action. We got some coaches being thrown out. Things are brewing here, Doug. How are things in your neck of the woods?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Some technical difficulty there at the beginning. I'm not sure what happened, but thank you guys for sticking with us. Jordan, hey, man, there's a lot going on in the world of sports right now. We've got, quick shout out to the Red Hot Reds podcast. They did a great job today with their interview. They had Clay Snowden on earlier, so that will be linked in our show notes. Please go check out that interview. The Red Hot Reds guys have been killing it on the YouTube channel. A lot of views over there, so thank you to everybody who's reached out and watched their product over on our YouTube channel. It means a lot to us. But Jordan, overall, man, it's a great time of year. The draft is upon us. We got a couple weeks out. We're going to talk a little Bengals and Browns tonight. The Cavs have locked up the 1 seed in the East. They are in a battle.
Finally.
You mentioned in a battle right now without their best players against Indiana. The Reds won a series against San Fran. So a lot to talk about tonight. A lot to talk about. Jordan, any thoughts before we get into the show?
No, I'm ready to dive into it. Things are popping, so let's get rolling.
All right, let's get into it then. A little Cavs action since they're playing right this second. Jordan, the Cavs finally locked down the number 1 seed. We'd been, I don't know, we haven't really gone overboard or anything crazy, but, we've thought about it. We've been a little bit worried. We're like, hey, let's get this done. Let's get this done with a couple games left. 4 games left on the season? After tonight, there will be 3 games left. Yes. How do you feel, man? How do you feel coming out of this? Because I'm pretty damn excited.
I'm cautioning with the Cavs, but I'm pretty damn excited. That we were going against kind of an underwhelming team the other night, but right now, seeing the bench players get their time to shine against some of Indiana's starters, this team looks like they're primed and ready to go. And they're saying the right things. Playing some good defense. We're still those guys, and for the first time ever, Douglas, in the post-LeBron era, the East runs through Cleveland. And that's something I'm really proud to say finally. This team has been rebuilt. We always haven't. We've seen some downs. We've seen some key guys come and go, from Colin Sexton to, a lot of those other pieces that we drafted that are no longer with us. But Doug, this seems to be the kind of the team of destiny. Maybe?
Oh, wow. You're going that far.
Team of the, or just maybe, the Eastern Conference team of the year, no doubt. I know OKC got the better record overall in NBA, but Doug, this just feels right. There's a certain energy that is with this team as the number 1 seed that wasn't there last year on a number 4 seed. How are you feeling about it?
I feel really good, man. This, first time since LeBron has left that we have the 1 seed. First time since 2016 we are the 1 seed. It feels really damn good to do. It feels good to accomplish these things without LeBron being on the roster. And I think that's the most special thing to me is we're getting it done at such a high level without one of the best players of all time. Yeah, we've got some damn good players on the roster, but nobody's LeBron on this roster. Donovan Mitchell's a top 15 player in the NBA. Evan Mobley's a top 30 player in the NBA. Yes. Darius Garland's in there in the mix too. Jared Allen, one of the most underrated centers in the league. But those guys don't combine to be LeBron. So it's really special. First time since 2016, like I said. Quick shout out, Bearded Browns podcast. If you have any questions about the Cleveland Browns, those are your guys. Hashtag let them know from the Bearded Browns. Appreciate that, boys. Yeah, man, it's a special time in Cleveland. I just don't want it to potentially fall flat. Does that make sense to you, Jordan? Like, let me ask you this, and we're going to get right into it because, 3 games left. We've got the number 1 seed. We got to kind of shift our focus to the playoffs. What would you consider being a failure in this playoff run? What would be a failure to you?
I'm going to compare it to, really how we handled Ohio State football in their journey this year. Doug, it's the Eastern Conference championship overall and a finals appearance or bust. The next evolution for this team has got to be an Eastern Conference championship and a finals appearance. I won't go overboard and say an NBA title, although that's the bias in me wants to say NBA title or bust. But right now, Doug, it's NBA Finals championship appearance and an Eastern Conference title. You have to finish the race. The race is that you were number 1 in the regular season. You have wins against Boston. You dominated New York. You've done well against Indiana. And all the major players, Milwaukee didn't show up this year, so that kind of opened another door for the Cavs. So for me, it's you've got to win the East, and we got to make a finals appearance.
Oh, that still seems like such high expectations. Jordan, I'm going to take it one step behind. I think making the Eastern Conference finals and pushing Boston or whoever to, if it's not Boston, then winning the East is the answer. But if we do play Boston in the Eastern Conference finals, if we can push them to 6 or 7 games, I think for me, that would be a success. In the moment, it's going to hurt like hell if it happens that way. Of course, the goal is to get to the NBA champion or the NBA finals and make a potential finals run. But I just don't want to go overboard because I think it's such a tall task still. It's going to be so difficult to make these dreams a reality. So to me, I think the Eastern Conference Finals is considered a success because, I don't worry about the first round. The first round doesn't worry me. The second round against the Pacers, potentially, I'm not worried about those 2 matchups. I'm worried about Boston. And I think everybody, if they're being realistic, is the issue there. We're not going to say, we're going to let the Bearded Browns say it for us. We're trying to cut back on our F-bombs, and these guys won't let us get away from it. But yeah, that's how we feel about Boston. You're damn right. But yeah, Jordan, it's got to be an Eastern Conference Finals run for me.
But I mean, do you feel better this year? I mean, especially with Ty Jerome, the trade we made for Hunter, the evolving bench, Dean Wade's getting healthy and in playoff prime. The pieces are there, Doug, to really give Boston that left hook. And we've done it in the regular season. It doesn't look pretty, but Boston's the defending world champs. So anytime you win a game against the champs, and especially your conference now, Eastern Conference rivals, I'm feeling better. And Ty Jerome is a wild card we didn't have last season. And the explosiveness he's giving us from the bench, I think he's one of the only players in the NBA right now to play under 18 minutes and average 16 points or more a game at times. And that's a spark we didn't have last year. We had our starters, and when they got exhausted, we went on these cold runs, and Boston just cavalanched on us last year at times. And right now, I feel like we have the 1-2 punch to kind of counter that. So I'm feeling more comfortable this year. It's still going to be a hell of a series because this is the defending world champions. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from Boston, their resume, their players, their roster, and, everything that's going to come with it. But Doug, we are primed to really stand in their way. And there have been outside analysts, Charles Barkley's gone on record to say, that if somebody's going to stop Boston in the East, it's Cleveland. And even Stephen A. Smith, who also doesn't give the Cavs much love at times, has said that if there's going to be a roadblock somewhere, it's Cleveland. So, I'm starting to believe it. And the players, I think, kind of believe it in themselves too.
I mean, that's all well and good. I mean, you can believe in yourself and you can feel good, but the reality is that Boston is what the Cavs are weak against. So I'm not ready to just, look over that. Yeah, they beat them in the regular season, but there's a different intensity. There's a different level of basketball play in the playoffs. But I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm excited. I'm very excited for this run. I'm very excited for these playoffs. Quick shout out, Ricky did a great job today on that interview. Great job, Ricky. Believe land, Bearded Browns, believe land. Hell yeah.
Quit skipping it. Quit skipping it.
He already agreed with you. What are you doing? Stop. I already played it while you were talking.
Okay, got it.
Jesus Christ. No, Jordan's wired up though tonight, so I appreciate that. Cavs down 5 right now with 2:11 left in the fourth quarter. It appears that they are playing some of either even further back in the bench. Tristan Thompson's playing minutes here. Craig Porter's playing big minutes here. Javonte Green's getting some minutes. Tyson's getting some minutes. Okoro's getting some minutes. So they took out Ty Jerome. They took out, DeAndre Hunter down the stretch. Get those guys some rest. But, 63 wins this season, Jordan. 63 wins, man. What a special season. This is a season I'm going to remember for a long time. And I hope the Cavs can go out and cap it off in an absolutely stellar way. So, any final thoughts on Cavs before we get out of here?
No, well, we're locked in. Just a week and a half away from the beginning of the NBA playoffs. We'll get some time off during the play-ins, and I think that's going to go, towards healing some minor nicks and crannies with some of our big stars. And Kenny Atkinson, I want to give a shout out. Seeing him get ejected today while playing the entire bench, showing a little bit of fire going into the playoffs, Doug. I love it. I think, the compass points towards, all positive things. And that's not something we usually are able to feel when the Cavs enter the playoffs, especially in the post-LeBron era.
Last final thought on the Cavs, guys. Ty Jerome, I picked him to score 25-plus points tonight. He has 24. He had 24 the entire fourth quarter. He has sat out the entire fourth quarter. I'm going to miss my bet because they are resting Ty Jerome tonight. An absolute slap in the face from Cleveland. Jordan, let's transition, though. Let's talk a little Cincinnati Reds, buddy. Cincinnati gets their first series win of the year. They beat a very good team in the San Francisco Giants. What are we feeling, man? How are we feeling 2 weeks in? What are your thoughts?
Let's give the red carpet where the red carpet needs to go. Doug, the top part of this pitching staff, and even some of the relievers minus last night, have been phenomenal. We are pitching at a level that I can't remember an era where I've been this excited. I mean, the Aaron Harang era, and then when we brought in Arroyo and, some of that on down when they were healthy is really the last time I can remember a little bit of dominance from the pitching side. We've always had the long ball guys. We've always had great hitters from Adam Dunn to Austin Kearns, to Brandon Phillips and so on and so forth. But Doug, this is the first time in a long time where I'm confident in the pitching staff. So that's where I'll give the roses to. I'll let you kind of take that and run with it and really tell me how you're feeling about maybe the rest of the roster while I kind of clean up my language before I tear into that part.
Okay, yeah, let's quickly talk about the pitching staff because the pitching staff has been excellent. They are as of right now, they are statistically the best pitching staff in the Major League Baseball. I saw some discourse today about Jonathan India and the Brady Singer trade. To me, this has been a great trade. I'm happy Jonathan India is having some success over Kansas City. Brady Singer really legitimizes this pitching staff. I've felt fantastic every 3 days we get on a week, Jordan. We get Hunter Green, one of the, if not the best starting pitcher in the NL. Then after that, we follow him up with Nick Lodolo, who is pitching out of his mind. He's got a .96 ERA. He's throwing great right now. Yeah, there's been a little bit of but he's still gotten 2 wins so far. He's doing great. Under 1 ERA is wild. And then we go to obviously Nick Martinez got shell shocked a little bit there the other night, giving up 11. He's given up 11 runs on the year. He's been the weak point of the starting rotation so far, but you pass him up and then you go to Brady Singer. And Brady Singer has also been phenomenal with 2 wins, a 2.25 ERA, Jordan. Right now, the best starting pitching in Major League Baseball resides in Cincinnati. I am beyond pumped about the pitching staff. The problem is, Jordan, we also sport the worst offense in Major League Baseball, Jordan. It's embarrassing. It's at this point, Jordan, it's just embarrassing. Without looking, if I asked you who leads this team in batting average, who would you say?
I know it's not Ellie.
No, it's not.
No. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, and that's rare. That's like I said, we grew up in an era where we scored and just got scored on more. So this is we really did. We had the Adam Dunns, we had the William Opinas of the world. Austin Kearns was a nice bat in his prime. Ken Griffey Jr. when he was healthy, but enough living in the past. But right now,
Jose Trevino, Jordan, is hitting 273 for this club. A guy who was brought in as a defensive catcher and to back up Tyler Stevenson and give him support is leading this team right now with a 273 average. As a ball club, this team is hitting 206. Oh my, that right there is enough to make your head hurt. That enough is Ricky, the Reds took notes from the Bengals. Great pitching staff, terrible offense. Yeah, the Bengals are flipped. Great offense, terrible defense. Oh my God. It's just, it's really difficult, man. Like you get a great outing from one of these pitchers, and they are absolutely fighting tooth and nail to try to get one run across. You take out the couple of those outlier games, and it's even worse. Matt McClain goes on the 10-day IL. Jordan, you wanna touch that one, because that sucks. I have a lot of worries about Matt McClain's health and his ability to stay healthy. What are your thoughts on Matt McClain as he goes on the 10-day DL?
Douglas, you and I pounded the table during spring ball on that, and especially watching even some of the Cactus League. So I'm not confident. I'm going to fall in line with you here, and we great human being. Wish him well, get down to the AAA, get down to AA, do what we need to do. When you come off of that 10-day, I think we're down to 7 days now, but we got goodness, get healthy. But if I'm the Reds front, and maybe I'm not trying to lead into another conversation, it's time to start shopping some options, especially while some of these pieces have value. But
you're not going to trade Matt McClain, Jordan. What are you doing here?
You got to go somewhere. If he's not going to be healthy enough to be a stable on the team, I would start shopping some options.
He's in his third season. He's barely in his third season. What are you talking about?
What'd you say when we started this conversation? The number one pitching staff in MLB. Doug, if you're the front office, you can't let that go to waste. You can't have this as a wasted season for your pitching staff.
Yeah, but you got to go get some guys. Trading Matt McClain's not the answer. Why would trading our best player be an option?
You got to get some guys that can hit, and that's just kind of what I feel like.
Matt McClain can hit. You don't want to get rid of your guys who can hit
when he's healthy. When he's healthy.
Okay. All right, you're going a different direction than I am. Okay, let's get back to it. This week, on Friday, tomorrow night, the Reds take on Pittsburgh. They start the series with Pittsburgh. Luckily, in this matchup with Pittsburgh, we miss Skeens, so we don't have to deal with Skeens. Heaney's still a good pitcher. Falter's solid. Friday, Apple TV, 6:40 start. Brady Singer on the hill. How do you feel about the Pittsburgh matchup? Both teams kind of waiting in the middle there. Any thoughts to start off?
I think we win the series. I think we go 2 of 3. Pittsburgh is going to come out and have one of those games that just kind of lights us up a little bit. And overall, I think we're going to come out just like against San Francisco. I think we're going to come out 2-1, win the series, and start trending in the right direction.
I'm with you there. I think this San Francisco winning this first series over them of the year, getting San Francisco, a really good team. This sets us up for success going forward. I hope this kind of turns the page and gets us pointed in that right direction. And Pittsburgh is a team that we should be able to beat in this series. So I'm thinking 2 or 3 also, get us back to one game under 500. And then my final thoughts on the Reds for you, Jordan. I want you to grade Terry Francona for the first 2 weeks.
Oh,
yeah.
A C plus. I give him a C plus.
Okay.
Because we're playing to our strengths. You know, he let Hunter Green go into 9 innings. You know, he didn't shut down his game until he had those 2 walk batters. Even though he says that he should have went with his gut and let him play. I believe, I'm one of the few that believe that was the right call. Mm-hmm. You walk 2 batters, that starts messing with your mental game a little bit, and it affects you. So watching him kind of learn and trusting his pitching staff and a little bit less on his bullpen, I'm going to give him a C plus. Everything else is kind of just kind of out there right now with the lineups and the health issues and stuff like, things of that nature that we haven't seen from Terry yet. But, there's room for improvement, but I don't think he's a D or an F. But, he's definitely not AB quality right now because this team would be in a better position than they currently stand. So I'm going to give him a C plus, and that's just strictly off of, learning how to coach and manage his pitching staff.
Yeah, I'm going to go lower. Ricky here, Sparky Anderson isn't winning with this roster. Francona is doing what he can with this dumpster fire of a lineup. I agree to an extent there, Ricky, because I just feel like he's mismanaged the bullpen a little bit more than anything. And I don't think this is the end of the world. Again, we're 13 games into the season.
Correct.
It's not the end of the world. I just don't think he's pulled the right chords yet. And I think that definitely will improve as the year goes along. Again, he's been out of the game for a while, so it's going to take some time to get back in the mix and get comfortable and get his guys where he wants them to be. So I'm going to say C. I'll stay with C plus also. I think that's a fair grade, Jordan. We've got a lot of season left. A lot of season.
100%.
And the lineup sucks. It flat out sucks. Nick Krall and his gang of cronies did not do enough for the Reds ball club. And it's showing early in the season. Worst offense in baseball. Holy shit. These guys stink. That's with 1 or 2 games of explosion. So that should tell you everything. That should tell you everything you need to know. But when you go through a game of baseball and you score 12 plus runs, you're like, these guys can't be that bad. Well, look at the whole picture and the whole body of work. They are that bad, and that's something as a Reds fan, and especially as an analyst in the area, Doug, we got to swallow that pill and hope it gets better. All right, Jordan, let's keep it rolling. Let's talk a little Browns and Bengals draft prep. Jordan, a lot of visits are happening. Top 30 visits. There's all kinds of different visits happening. Talk to me a little bit about the Bengals and where you believe they're going at pick 17.
I'm not unhappy with some of the visits, especially running back wise. We just like Cleveland, we hosted both Ohio State running backs, Judkins and Henderson. So I'm happy. I hope that Henderson falls in, I don't see him going that deep, but hopefully he's there in round 3 and available. But I think he's somebody that's going to be gone in round 2. But defensively though, in the trenches, this is where we're taking the most visits. We're visiting defensive ends. We hosted Jack Sawyer. We hosted JT Tuamoa, some local heroes. So I'm happy to see that. We're the edge from Marshall is a guy that we've talked to. We've talked to a couple safeties. Much needed. Everybody knows after this week on Twitter that I'm not happy with the safety position. If you didn't already figure that out, I think I'm pounding the table that hoping that if we're going to take one, and we're not going to go trenches in round 2, we just go ahead and bite the bullet, fall on the sword, get a guy in the building. But Doug, I'm happy. It's been a lot of defensive visits for Cincinnati, and that's we're 28 out of 32 last year is where we finished overall. and it makes sense. So hopefully they pull the trigger, but we got to hit. We've drafted defense before. We've drafted Miles Murphy. We've drafted DJ Turner for corner rounds 1 and 2. Cam Taylor Britt round 1. Dax Hill in Cam Taylor Britt in round 2. Dax Hill in round 1 in multiple drafts. And some of this has got to pan out. We can draft high all day long, but I'm hoping our small, pathetic peanut of a scouting department can compare to the rest of the NFL. And that's statistically true. That's not me throwing shade. We statistically have one of the worst scouting departments in the NFL. That we do some due diligence and we just hit a home run here in the first 2 rounds, because we got to get guys that are going to make day one, hitting the ground running and making an impact in the game at one level or another. And Cincinnati, so far we're taking the right visits, but more to be said when we get close to the draft. How are you feeling about your boys up north?
There's some confusion. There's some questions. There's, a little uncertainty here. But what I will say is I'm okay with if Travis Hunter's the guy at 2. I think Travis Hunter can be a legitimately superstar level receiver. I'm not sold on the fact that he could play both ways. I mean, I'm sure there's some situational football where he can play corner, and him lined up with Denzel Ward definitely would be awesome. But it's such a tall task to ask him to go both ways. But if he was able to focus in on solely playing wide receiver, I think he could be legitimately a superstar. And that's what this team needs. We need a legitimate superstar, Jordan. So that is something I'm growing okay with. I'm still in the camp that I would like to see us draft Sanders and work from there. But, a lot of visits have happened, Jordan. We've had, anywhere from Quinshon Judkins. We had the running back from Virginia Tech in today.
Yes,
we've spoken to Jalen Milroe. We've spoken to Jackson Dart. We've brought in a couple tight ends and Mason Taylor, Elijah Arroyo. Mason Graham's been in for a visit. Shout out to the Bearded Browns. Those guys love Mason Graham. Deion Walker.
They took a visit from Scattaboo.
Yeah, Scattaboo was in the building today.
For a late round pick.
I saw them throwing up the shocker / devil horns. But right now it's a lot of getting guys in the building and these interviews and things like that. But it comes to a head. The draft is a couple weeks away, like you said. When that number is called, man, it's going to be a very interesting time. Who are the Browns taking at number 2? If I had to put my money on it right now, it would be Travis Hunter. And I would be okay with that as long as they have a plan to get one of these quarterbacks. If they have to trade up, if they have to do something like that, I'm just, there's so many needs on this team. I don't want to waste a bunch of our assets going forward on one, to move up so super far. But, because we need another offensive lineman. We need a linebacker. We need a tight end potentially. We potentially need another wide receiver if we don't go get a Hunter. So, there's a lot of needs here still. Safety is a big need. We need to get one of these young safeties back there to help Delpit. A big emphasis on draft equity and using these draft picks to draft guys who can help this team. Unless we're going all in on this season, and if we're drafting Hunter and then trading back up for Sanders, which would be a wild night if that were to happen, Jordan. Any final thoughts on the draft, man? I know we didn't talk about a lot, but what is your 2 biggest needs for the Bengals? Because we're going to start leading up and getting a little bit more into the drafts here over the next couple weeks.
A lot of outside folks are going to say guard, but it's defensive tech. 100%. No. Jordan Maxson is not here to argue that, but the defense we've seen patchwork offensive lines work for the Cincinnati Bengals. I hate saying that because it does put our injury-prone quarterback even more at risk, but I'm saying defensive tackle, defensive end have got to be hit in the first 2 rounds, because I do see some potential gems in rounds 3 and 4 when it comes to offensive guards and even offensive tackles, because I do think this is a deeper draft for that. So I'm willing to bet that if we hit 2 superstars, on the defensive line in the first 2 rounds that can provide on day 1, that's going to alleviate so many other issues that are going on with the team, especially defensively. and on the back end of our secondary that it's got to be pass rush. And the Trey Hendrickson, Doug, it's not locked down. There's no definitive answer on if he'll be suiting up week 1 in a Cincinnati uniform. So in my opinion, with that especially being out there, it's got to be defensive line.
Hey, I'm with you. I think it's got to be defensive line also. You can find a good guard in this draft in the later couple rounds. So I'm definitely there with you on that. Jordan, again, draft's coming up, man. There's going to be a lot of content coming up about the draft. We're going to do probably a couple mock drafts here in the next 2 weeks, and really going to start hammering home that draft prep. Next on the agenda, Jordan, little news and notes. FC Cincinnati. Jordan, what's up with these guys? You know, we bash them, and then, you know, they come out and they get the win. They're getting healthy. Evander's going to be back for their next game. You know, hey, man, this team's working their way back up. Any thoughts on FC Cincinnati?
I'm just going to echo myself. I think they're gelling, and it's going to be the right time. I think you hit the nail with the hammer right there. You know, it's health-wise, and we're getting our stars back, and we're getting to the point of the season where game rest is going to be a little bit less. They're going to be bumping almost 2 games a week from here on out moving forward. And I think that consistency in playing and, we have all the potential in the world. I think these guys are going to take off. So I don't think we're on Miami's level yet. When we were winning games and tying against Miami and we had all that excitement last season, I don't think this team is there yet, but I think it's going to be an interesting finish when we get to that level and we get to those games. So right now, they just got to keep grinding, Doug.
Hell yeah. Like I said, Evander will be back this weekend. They've got the game against DC United, 7:30 on Saturday night. Quick shout out here at Cleveland or to the Bearded Browns. Michael, y'all should come to our draft party. We have Ralph Hawley will be live with us at our event. That's huge. The Bearded Browns, guys, like I said earlier, if you want Cleveland Browns coverage, you've got to check these guys out. They do an excellent job. That would be a hell of a drive up to Cleveland. Jordan would feel a little uncomfortable, but if the schedules work and things work out, I will definitely hit you guys up and let you know. But that could be a damn fun night, man, to grab a hotel and go up and hang out with those guys. That'd be a hell of a time. Next on our list, Jordan. What?
No, something that I really would probably be interested in doing. I know night 2 I'm going to be tied up, representing us at another event, but with a couple of Bengals associates and Jordan Battle in attendance. So I'll be tied up on night 2, but night 1 we could make something happen here.
Hell yeah! And then Jordan, let's transition. Here we go. The Ohio Invitational Tournament, Jordan. Things heated up a little bit on Twitter today discussing the Ohio Invitational Tournament. Guys, we got it was great interactions today talking about the Ohio Invitational Tournament. Everybody felt like their team was slighted. Everybody wanted their college in the tournament. It was a lot of fun to discuss today and continuing to discuss. It's really taken off. Jordan, look, people are starting to call me the founder around town. People are starting to call me, that guy who started the Ohio Invitational Tournament. Dude, if this ever happened, this would be awesome. It would be awesome for Ohio basketball to have a weekend set out. Your top 8 teams, four teams, your Dayton Flyers, your Ohio State Buckeyes, your Xavier Musketeers, your Cincinnati Bearcats are your 4 locks, obviously. And then you take the 2 best teams from the MAC, your 2 best Ohio teams, that is, based on record and everything like that, your 2 best Ohio teams from the Horizon League, and you just play it out. You play, you get it as part of the revenue share to each college, and then you try to find a way to get some NIL dollars there for the champion. And I think if you do it correctly, you could entice these bigger teams to bring it together and really make this happen. I'm hopeful that some bigger eyes saw this today. And, maybe this comes to fruition in a couple of years. Any final thoughts on that?
I mean, 100,000 plus interactions on it, Doug, and, over 800 likes. A couple, the retweets are just, the number keeps going stagnant. I think we started this morning at 15K, and now we're over 100,000. So that's impressive. We've had local media guys chime in on it. We've had some college Twitters kind of hint at it. Our DMs are flooded with guys asking us to change the roster on it.
Fix the bracket.
Guys, fix the bracket. Guys, it's a concept, and we're not kneeling to that. We made our bracket. This is what we're locked in on. Stop DMing me about it. It's driving me crazy. Even on my personal, if I took a snapshot and put it on here right now, it's more DMs than I've had in 2 years. Enough. But, it's fun. Interact. I'm not changing it. Interact with me on the conversation web. But, Doug, this was great. This was something a lot of people, I didn't think it would get as excited about it. But
I didn't either.
We're fresh off the March Madness. Basketball is still college basketball is still very much in the heart of every fan here in the area. And like I said, it's been a hell of a year. It was a hell of a year for the MAC. It was a great year for Xavier. They've, as much as we just like them, they made a hell of a coaching change and brought in a little bit of royalty. UC looks like they're trending. Ohio State is making the right moves in the portal, which, we were questioning that going in if Diebler can get it done because they were mute to a lot of things until probably the last 48 hours or so. So right now it's, college basketball is still very much in the hearts and minds of our fan base. And, we're thrilled to have these conversations with you and carry it. And maybe we will get the right eyes because, Doug, I'm going to branch off. We're home of 2 Six Flag theme parks right now that could get into it.
The recruiting spiel. Go for it.
No, it is a recruiting spiel. It is a recruiting spiel. We're home to Kroger's, which is a multi-billion-dollar business, right here in the heart of Cincinnati. We've got more brewing companies than just about any other state. So, if all the breweries wanted to get together and put it together, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is the 3rd largest air base in the United States. So right there, if we wanted to use that as a recruiting tool for the U.S. Air Force, much like the Army did for the UFL for a one-night only deal, we could do that. The Cleveland Cavaliers Stadium would be an awesome place to hold it, neutral ground, if they could schedule it around the Cavs schedule. Doug, I just think there's too much opportunity here not to bounce on it, and there's too many businesses and way too much money in this state. Six Flags alone. Having deals with Warner Brothers and so on and so forth. I think that this totally could get this done, and I would love to get the right ear and the right eyes.
Yep, I'm with you there. As the creator of the Ohio Invitational Tournament, I just hope that someday when this happens, they remember that I was on the ground floor. But no, this is a great idea, man. We get a matchup with Dayton and Wright State potentially, who they won't play each other because Dayton, they just won't commit to playing Wright State for different reasons. A great game against X in Miami of Ohio, UC versus Youngstown State, Ohio State versus Akron. I mean, there's a lot of good basketball that could be played. And then think about it. You get Dayton versus X in the second round, potentially Ohio State versus UC. And then you could go any matter of ways. Those are big money games, playing for potentially NIL dollars to help the recruiting and all these different things. Imagine the sponsors you could get involved with this. I think it's an idea that definitely has legs, and I would love to see it really take off. We got 1,000 likes. You said 123K views. I'm just hoping somebody sees this and thinks, man, let's try to push this to the next level. And even if you can't get some of the big name teams to come to the table, you could supplement it with more MAC teams. You could supplement it with other ways of doing it. I just think, in today's landscape, with the NIL being so important and having an NIL prize at the end would really bring some of these teams to the table and make it a viable option. So I just want to thank everybody who, liked, retweeted, commented, even everybody who's begging to get your college on there. How can you have the Ohio Invitational without the Ohio Bobcats? I don't know how many people sent me that message. But I've
got 4 or 5 of them.
It wasn't personal. Ohio didn't win the MAC this year. Akron did. Miami played them in the finals. That's why they were in there like that. So fun idea, man. Fun. It was just a busy day on social media because of it, but a great idea in my opinion, Jordan. So let's keep it rolling. Let's talk a little UFC, Jordan. It's not here on our news and notes, but a big UFC event this weekend. I'm looking forward to this one. Jordan, I sent you the card earlier. Whew. Let's talk just main card. because we're not going to get into the weeds and everything. I know, not everybody's a hardcore. So let's talk just main card. Krylov versus Reyes at the light heavyweight bout. Reyes is on a little bit of a streak. Krylov is a damn good fighter. Who are you picking in this one, Jordan?
I gotta go with Reyes. I'm just feeling it.
Okay, you're going Reyes here.
Yes.
I'm going to actually go Krylov. As good as Reyes has been recently, his win over Anthony Smith was a good, solid win. I'm going to go Krylov here. I think he's in better form right now overall than Reyes, and I'm going to stick with him. Next, Yair Rodriguez versus Pitbull. Pitbull coming over from Bellator/PFL. You've seen him fight in all kinds of championship fights in Bellator. But Yair Rodriguez is a very hard opening fight for your UFC debut at featherweight. So this will be a fun one, Jordan. Who do you have winning this one?
Doug, I have Rodriguez. I have a gut feeling. I feel like he just brings something to the table that not necessarily hasn't been seen, because in the world of combat sports, just about everything has been seen. But he just has an aura on him that I respect. You sent me the card, so I did a little research. I watched a couple highlights, and that's just who I'm locking in on.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to side with you. I'm going to take Yair Rodriguez here to beat Pitbull in his debut. Dude, I'm telling you, there's something about moving up to the UFC. Yeah, I think Pitbull's a phenomenal fighter. He's accomplished all kinds of things. He's beaten Michael Chandler in some big fights, who's co-main eventing this card. But I think there's a psychological part of it, and then a little step up in competition. And starting off with Yair Rodriguez is a damn hard challenge. So give me Yair to pull out the win here. Next fight, Mitchell versus Silva. Bryce Mitchell is a Bible thumper to the extreme. He is extremely out there with his views and his beliefs, and because of that, and just because the way he's in your face about it, I don't care what you believe in or what you stand for. I'm happy for you with whatever you believe in. But when you shove it in people's faces and you make absurd claims, I like to see you get your ass kicked. And I'm hoping Bryce Mitchell gets his ass kicked, because I like Jan Silva, Gene, however you want to say it there. Obviously I'm not great with that, but Silva to knock out Bryce Mitchell would make my Saturday. Jordan, what are your thoughts there? Give
me Silva. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse.
You're a Bible thumper too, though.
I am not. That is something we will edit out as a disclaimer. I will talk to our HR department about this.
I think I run the HR department. Let
me look at the number. Damn it, it's Doug. I don't know. No, I got to go with Silva. I like his fighting style. Even without
right now, he's coming off some good wins.
He is hot. Even without the antics of his opponent, I was going to pick Silva regardless. But I'm feeling Silva. So we're going 2 for 2 here on agreements. Hell must have frozen over somewhere, but we're gonna rock with it.
Yeah, Michael. For the big UFC cards, we'll definitely talk about them, and we'll talk about the pay-per-views. I've been a UFC fan for a long time, and just so you know, I am not attacking religious people. I just don't like the in-your-face stuff. That's all. I just want that to be on the record. I worship however you like to, just don't throw it in my face every single time it happens. Next fight, the co-main event, Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. Jordan, I believe 100% in my heart that Michael Chandler is going to knock out Paddy Pimblett.
Oh my God.
But Michael Chandler has let me down quite a few times.
There it is. I was waiting on the butt. Because I'm going with Michael Chandler.
He's let me down quite a few times, Jordan. Give me Michael Chandler to knock out Paddy Pimblett. Tell me what you thought.
I thought he was just going to win the fight. You're saying knockout?
Oh, I'm saying knockout.
You're saying
I'm saying he knocks out Paddy Pimblett.
I'm going to give you $20 to put on that bet, and we're going to split it.
We're putting it on there
this weekend. But no, I've got him in a win. I didn't have him in a knockout. So we're agreeing again. We'll roll with it.
All right, we've got Chandler beating Paddy Pimblett.
Chandler beating
main event, featherweight championship. Ilya Taporia moves up to the next weight class and relinquishes his belt. Jordan, Volk steps in versus Diego Lopez. This is a barn burner type fight. Diego Lopez is in phenomenal form. Volk coming off his knockout loss to Ilya Taporia a year and a half ago. I'm going upset here. I'm assuming Volk is the favorite. I'm going upset here. Diego Lopez to beat Alexander Volkanovski. This is hard for me to say because I have been a Volkanovski fan for a long time now. I love the way this guy fights, but something in me is saying Diego Lopez's time. What do you say, Jordan?
I have we finally veer here. This is where the road splits. Respectfully, I have Alexander in a decision. I don't think anybody gets knocked out. I think it's going to be a brutal fight to the very end, but I have Alexander by decision.
That's that. I could definitely see that happen. I love both guys. I got that feeling for whatever reason that Diego Lopez gets it done. Jordan, it's gonna be a fun ass fight card, man. I'm excited beyond belief. My passion for this UFC started, in the 2006, 2007, and it's stuck with me, man. It's just stuck with me, and I've always enjoyed the sport. So excited for tonight. I'm glad we got to break this down on the card.
Back before inflation, we used to go and watch this at BW3s on like 15-cent wing night, and order the hell out of the wings. Can't afford it now outside the Wednesday deals, whatever they have nowadays. I haven't been there in years actually, but back in the day, we used to take our lawn mowing money and put it out on a table and pay the waitress in dollars, quarters, and dimes. But
one final thing about BDUBS. The moment they got rid of corn dogs was the moment they lost me as a regular customer. I will not sleep until I figure out which BDUBS decision maker made that officially. Getting rid of the mini corn dogs was you should be put in prison.
Doug, I can remember. I won't even tell you the year. It had to be closer to 2009 when I was on Marine Corps leave. We went out, you ordered mini corn dogs, and the lady looked you stone cold in the face and said, "We don't have that anymore." And that was the end of Douglas Anthony Stevens going to BDUBS on a regular basis. We used to go all the time.
They absolutely killed me that day. We used to have a BDUBS 5 minutes up from our houses, and we would go there twice a week at least. And those cold-hearted bastards at Buffalo Wild Wings, they got rid of their mini corn dogs, and I tell you what, they lost $40 to $50 from me every week, and I hope they can feel it in their pockets. They're lucky Arby's bought them out, or else they'd be out of business. Let's move on, Jordan.
Let's move on.
Let's talk a little golf, Jordan. Let's talk a little golf before I blow a gasket. Oh, man. The Masters, Jordan. The Masters. It's finally here. You cowarded your way out on Monday of not picking. You cowarded your way out on Monday of not picking a winner. Who wins the Masters, Jordan?
Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, now you want Scotty Scheffler. You didn't want him on Monday when he was the favorite and obvious. You didn't want him on Monday. Now you want Scotty Scheffler after you saw how he played on day one.
No,
Scotty Scheffler, 4 under. He's 3 strokes behind Justin Rose right now. I also put $100 on Scotty Scheffler this morning before they kicked off their round. I'm going to ride with Scotty Scheffler also. He is a phenomenal golfer, an absolute phenomenal golfer.
We got to keep the championship in America, Doug. We got to keep the championship in America.
Oh, my God. That could spin off into a multitude of ways. I'm going to let that die right there. I'm not going to let Jordan politicize this show after I just attacked BDUBS. But, Jordan, I mean, this weekend, we're going to have a lot of time here to sit down and watch the Masters.
Yes.
It's I've really enjoyed getting more into golf and more into watching golf over these last few years. So excited to sit down and watch guys play at the absolute highest level. Scotty Scheffler's 62-foot birdie putt today, mind-blowing stuff. I mean, just out-of-body type experience watching him hit that shot. So, any final thoughts here, Ben, on the Masters?
No, it's and it can go any way, any day. We've seen that throughout the years. Guys that come out hot, sometimes, things happen. We'll see what the weather brings, because that's always kind of a factor, especially in Augusta the last 3 or 4 seasons. But, I love watching the amateurs at the end, and the amateurs I want to give them their roses, because we won't be on the air until next Monday. But that's something I really, the upcoming golfers, it's always fun to see them stand with the guys that get the green jacket and get their interview time and, really talk about that and press on and so on and so forth. And a couple Ohio State representation last year fell into place. So if that so happens again, I don't have every name in front of me, but, we're definitely going to throw them some flowers on Monday. But to me, Doug, it's from the world-class pros on down to the amateurs. Augusta brings it all together. And, that's what makes it so special, in my opinion. It's the atmosphere. It's the players. It's the future. It's the, honoring the past on the dinner the night before. And they just, to me, they really bring it all together. They honor everything about the game of golf. And, I'll be excited when the winner makes that final walk down the lane, the quarter-mile walk, and gets their jacket. And, everybody from the past is there congratulating them. And then they interview the amateur golfer, the up-and-coming guy after that. You can't beat it. That's honor,
Special.
Future, present, and past. That's so special, in my opinion. And, I'll definitely be watching it. Shout out to Paramount Plus for doing 14 hours of coverage.
Some say too much. Some
but,
say. May
some
not
say
be,
too
might
much.
not be me, but some say too much.
If it's not me, I've got my Arnold Palmers ready. I've got my sandwiches ready. I got maybe a little bit of vodka mixed in with it. We'll see where it takes Jordan Maxon this weekend. You'll be able to tell by my tweets, but what a weekend of sports, Doug. We got UFC. We've got some Reds
loaded,
baseball.
FC, Cincinnati,
we got
UFC,
FC.
the Masters, the Reds, Cleveland, the Cavs are at New York the other Saturday night. It's a loaded night. It's a loaded weekend, dude. You're right.
So, but I'm ready for it. I think, offline here, I think you and I are going to watch UFC together. I think Jordan Maxon's going to make a trip out, and we're going to have a little bit of guys' night. But, we'll see where this takes me. We'll see where this takes me.
News to me, guys. Big news. Jordan in the Dayton area. All right, guys. Let's get it wrapped up here. 1,274 live viewers tonight. Thank you. As always, it means the world to Jordan and I. Thank you to everybody who retweets the show, the live show. Thank you to everybody who retweets, our tweets. Thank you for getting the Ohio Invitational Tournament stuff out there. Over 1,000 likes, over 50 retweets. It means a lot to us. The interactions, while crazy, are fantastic. We appreciate all of that. Thank you guys for your support. We've got to 615 on YouTube subscribers. Guys, I just want you to know, it is free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you would absolutely be our best friends if you could help us out there. We're trying, we're pushing as hard as we can to get those views on there and get those subscribers. So, we appreciate you watching live, but it would help us a little bit if you did go over to the YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. Great show again tonight, Jordan. We had some ups and downs. You tried to trade Matt McClain, which I thought I was gonna throw you off the show, but overall, a fun show, man. The news and notes section, we really got going there. I'm going to post my BDUBS rant here tomorrow.
Oh, it's got to be a clip.
And we both got Scotty Scheffler. We've both got Michael Chandler to knock out Patty Pimblett. It was a fun night, man. I appreciate you. This has been Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxon. And we will see you guys Monday night live at 9:00 p.m. See ya.